What's up, faithful? What's up, faithful? Ooh, that was a tough one. Let's get into this post-game show reaction. 49ers versus Colts, Sunday night football, prime time. The whole nation watching for Sunday night football. Let's get into it. It's the 49365 post-game show on Croc Talk TV. Make sure you like and subscribe. My name is B. Amechi. As always, I'm with JB.
What's poppin' B? What's poppin' faithful? I, you know, I have, I've heard people say this and criticize the word faithful at times.
Yeah.
Criticize the business idea. Like let's make these fans say faithful and keep them faithful in the good times and then in the bad times. Let's keep them faithful. So I don't know, man. I'm just kind of not feeling that.
Man, you coming in hot right now. Like the first thing you said, not even the how you feeling, how's life going, man. It's been a minute. We didn't do a post
It's
game show after the Cardinals game.
post game reaction. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, we
Like
got to
it's like
come in hot.
it's like faithful, like faithful. What do you mean? Wait, what are we faithful to right now? What are we faithful to? The '94 Niners,
Came
the
out
Bill
with the
Walsh
throwbacks.
Niners.
Came out with the throwbacks. I guess this is the game that's going to be marked by you questioning the faith in the team, or at least the slogan. I guess before we get into it, man, this game, we knew coming into it that it was going to be a mud fest, a mud bowl type game. And I was tweeting out. I actually went on a Twitter storm. I don't tweet a lot, and I've been tweeting more and more lately. And after the game, I was kind of just tweet after tweet after tweet, like just going after it. And one of the things I said is, I went to the game in 2019 against the Washington football team. That was that mudfest game, and it was crazy. It was so cold. It was just the stadium was terrible. It was a really bad time. It was super hard getting a lift after the game, just because like I remember for me, like I couldn't even like put the lift request on my phone because my hands were so wet. The phone was so wet, like it wouldn't even like nothing was working. And so I was just thinking at that time, like, man, if we would have lost this game, that would have been the worst possible situation. At least if you win, it's like you get to talk about the memories and, oh man, I remember we went to this crazy game and we won. And I'm just thinking to, all the faithful out there. I know there was folks that flew in from Texas, from Minnesota, from all different places. And, just even the Bay Area with how crazy it's been. And you can attest to that being out there right now more than I can. But, the weather conditions are what they are. And for the team to, it's not like it's the guys did what they do. They're trying to win for us. It's not like they're not trying to win, but to put that product out on the field and in the weather conditions that it were, I just hope all the faithful got back safe. But it's a tough game. It's definitely a tough pill to swallow. So that's definitely what I'm gonna remember most. And prayers out to everybody in the Bay going through all this crazy weather situation. But let's get to the game, man. I don't know. Usually we start, pretty micro level and we just kind of go through, offense, defense, different players, how they perform, coaching, etc. This is one of those big picture games. And you even started things off talking about the whole concept of being faithful. To me, I feel like I don't know if you saw the post-game press conferences yet, if you had any thoughts on kind of Shanahan's demeanor and whatnot. But to me, this is one of those games where your whole tenure as a head coach, you've come in, you've been deemed as the genius. You've been deemed as the Shanakos offense. Any single person who's worked with you has been deemed as, oh, they're working they're running the Shanahan office. And they're not talking about Mike Shanahan. They're talking about Kyle Shanahan. That's what it's been up to this point. And your energy with that is like, I'm that genius brainchild. And it's been that asshole energy, right? That asshole energy of like, every time you come up to a post-game podium and whatnot, it's this like Bill Belichickian, style of I'm not really going to answer anything. No, by no means was anybody perfect, but I'm just very negative kind of connotation and energy. I'm just talking about energy. You see me, I'm all about positive energy and good vibes. This is one of those games, and we're at a point in the season now at 2-4, okay, where it's like that doesn't really work anymore. Like you can't really have that energy. You can't. And to me, I was thinking like watching this game and seeing how it deciphers. I'm not all the way over the edge. I feel like next week is really the must-win game because if you lose that game going against Justin Fields, who you could have drafted, and he had a terrible game today against Tampa Bay, if he looks like a franchise quarterback against us and we lose that game, I don't even want to put negative energy and those thoughts into the world, but that's to me is the game where it's like you cannot lose that game, right? But I'm thinking about like Shanahan, and I'm like, whether it's this year or next year, I feel like he's going to be a really good coach in the next team that he goes to. He's going to learn from his mistakes. He's going to learn from. I would think he's going to learn
Hey
from all
man,
this and
I mean,
and grow and not be so focused on being that like that image and that energy of who he's presented so far. But it's like it's so unfortunate that we're not going to reap those benefits because this is what we came in. Jed gave him this power. We're in a desperate situation. Shanahan just felt right. He felt like the right coach. And I think it was a good hire. Not everything works out. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but I don't think it was a bad hire. I mean, maybe you can question giving him all the power that he apparently
bro,
has, allegedly.
bro,
But
bro,
that's kind of where I'm looking at this game. What's your
bro,
thoughts?
like my thoughts is this. Let's just, I mean, it's really not complicated, and how I look at it now, how I look
Okay,
at this bull junk. Um,
break it down.
bro, we just at the end of the day, Shanahan, if we fire him, and that's a possibility now. It's a possibility. Before it was like the way this season is going. It's definitely a possibility he could get fired. But if he gets fired and goes somewhere else, I'm not even gonna be like, oh, he's gonna be great with somebody else. If he's good, he'll get that. It's because of luck. And I know that I've been on that shit, but I just feel like, bruh, we don't have good players. Like that's what
Mm,
it. Look at the players they got Carson Wentz. He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. They
yeah.
got number 21. That dude was the best player on the
Come on,
field.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, the best player on the field. We just don't have enough players. We got Nick Bosa. He's playing good. Fred Warner. He's not the best linebacker in the league.
Can I say something just real
He's
quick off of
not
what
the
you?
best linebacker in the league, bro.
Can I just say something real quick off what you're saying right now? Like
We just
Carson
we didn't,
Wentz.
we didn't draft. Go ahead,
Carson Wentz showed he's better than Jimmy G, right?
huh?
Frank Wright, I feel like it's one game, but Frank Wright, he's better than Shanahan. Darius Leonard, it's just one game. I don't want to be too dramatic, but it's like compared his performance. I know Fred Warner had that fumble recovery and whatnot, but he hasn't really been making that big play for us this year. I mean, he's seen at least on the same level of Fred Warner, if not better. You just go play by play. Like you said, Nick Bosa did his thing, but it's just I hear you. We're another one. This is a big one. I almost let this one slip. Pittman versus
Jimmy.
Ayuk.
I mean,
Look at Pittman versus Ayuk.
we got Debo Samuel and we got Nick Bosa, and those are the only two guys this year who are consistently like playing at an elite level. I feel like I said, Fred Warner is underperforming.
And
And let's think about it. We talk about
Debo
Shanahan.
has had fumble issues, and Debo hasn't been perfect. I will say
He's not
he's
perfect, but
we've thrown him the ball every single time, and he's come through. But he has had critical fumbles.
right. He's gonna earn some money, but yeah, he's not perfect. He's definitely not perfect. But Debo is come to play. He's got a touchdown
Absolutely,
damn near in every
he's been a
game. It
dog.
seems like.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
look, we look at this weak ass. Okay, we look at this mediocre roster. That on offense is like, okay, you can't do anything, and that's when we have to look at Shanahan. Like, this is the genius. You're the genius who put this roster together. You're the genius, Lynch. You're the Hall of Fame. Like, you're great at playing is not the same as coaching, and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to pick raw players. It's really hard to pick great players. I guess it seems like it is, but we don't. These
I,
these but these Shanahan and Lynch, you have to be responsible for what you put out on the field, the players that you put on the field, and the players that we have on the field. We're a mediocre team at
yeah,
best. At best. Like, I don't want to hear we've been in almost every game. We've been on almost okay, yeah.
that's every
We,
NFL game.
we've been in almost every game until you lost it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could have won today. We could have won today if we didn't lose.
The way we play too, with trying to dominate time of possession with all the rushes, the game is going to get shortened. So you're going to be in more games that playing that way, anyways. Being a conservative team that runs the ball a lot and does a lot and even on defense, giving up a lot, but then not giving up the big play unless it's through a penalty, which happens all the time. So you're going to be in games like all the time. And I mean, you look at any primetime game this season, it goes down to the wire. It's not like that's something to be super proud of. Just on the flip side, we could have been 0, we could be 0-6 or 0-8, so at the end of the day, like, I think you can't always bring that argument up. But man, we might as well get to some of these comments because I feel like the faithful definitely wanted to tap in on some of the conversations going on. It's not just us being dramatic. We got BY Victor 1 saying 49ers season is over. This ish was a mess. I think it actually brings up another thing that I thought. I'm gonna be honest, and you talked about the whole question, the whole faithful moniker and whatnot. I'm gonna be honest with you. Watching this game, and I told you this at halftime, I was just not juiced for this game. Like I wasn't coming in like super excited and super happy to like
Why
see the
would you be
product on the
juiced?
field.
Why would
Well,
you be juiced?
well,
Why
this
would
is what
you
I'm.
be juiced, bro? This is like we've had this feeling all the year. It's like the
But let
season
me
is
say this.
over.
But let
You
me say
gotta
this.
know
But let
that.
me say this. It's
You
not
know
just
the
about.
season's over. That's what it is.
Well, it's not
You
just
know,
about. It's not about. My point is, I wasn't juiced partially because it's not just about wins and losses. Like, what's going to happen? Oh, Jimmy goes in there. He's going to play like Jimmy makes some plays. It's raining, so he's going to miss some plays, and it's going to be some excusable things, and we'll have it a close game, and maybe we'll win at the end, maybe we'll lose it at the end. But it's like, what's the light at the end of the tunnel going down that path and still kind of do it? That's not really going to lead us to any changes of what we want to see. That's not going to lead us to more Trey Lance if things go that way. So like at the end of the day, like I wasn't juiced in the first half. And as I started to get more into the game in the second half, I was like, I'm actually I know I'm gonna get killed for this. A lot of people are gonna be on my side. A lot of people are gonna, kill me for this. But I was just hoping that Jimmy G would, throw some interceptions, have some fumbles, basically play like in a lot of ways the way that he did, because he did a lot of good. That second to last drive where he had all the plays, action, big throws, like he made some plays. Like you got to give him
yeah,
props
two
when he
plays.
plays well.
Two plays.
Whatever. I think it was three, but he had some plays in there, so you got to give him his props when he plays well. But my whole thing is like, there's always these excuses. Like it seems like there's always at least one thing that's drawn up and kind of goes his way, or like this pass that somebody's gonna have all these yak yards on and it goes all the way, and it's like, oh, Jimmy's a winner, Jimmy's getting it done. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that in this game, because what's going to be the light at the end of the tunnel? How are we going to move on to the next era of football unless things just crash and burn? And I hate, it's almost like I'm rooting against the team, but it's like I
Bruh,
want to
bruh,
I want the smoke. I want the
bruh,
smoke because
bruh,
it's the only
bruh,
way that things are going to blow up,
bruh. Who
right?
is gonna go against you on that? Who is
There's a
who?
lot of people on
No, no.
49ers Twitter who
But
have been on, you know how
all
it's
the
been.
people who are
You know
Jimmy
how it's
Garoppolo,
been.
bruh, all the people who like Jimmy Garoppolo, there is no like you can't like what are you gonna say now? Yeah,
Well, they're going to
Jimmy's
say it's a rainy game and all this. And
oh
it's like the
my
flip side
god.
of that is look at Carson.
Bro,
Look,
we know okay. Carson Wentz, he
they're
was
going to say it's
he
going to
was
give us a
better than
better chance
Garoppolo.
than Trey would. That's what they're going to say, and it's like,
Hey
how would you
man,
even know when we're losing anyways? So, like,
hey
why would
man,
you
we
not
might
just
as
put
well
your
put
future in?
Trey in. And you know what? I'm gonna also say what's on my mind too, truthfully. And you know, we the fans got so excited about
The
trading up to
trade up.
number three
Hmm.
because the genius gets to pick his own quarterback. The genius, like, ooh, if with the genius gets his own quarterback, like
It's
it's
over.
over. Like
It's over.
he knows something that, and now I'm just kind of like, I'm definitely not gonna say I don't, I'm writing him off or I'm not, fairly. Yeah, I'm very intrigued, and I've seen flashes with Trey, but I have no faith in Shanahan's picking talent ability. I don't have faith in that. I don't have faith that he's gonna pick. I don't have faith that because Shanahan picked Trey Lance, he's gonna be great or whatever. Like he could be a bust. He
Yeah,
really could
well,
be a bust. So
that's true, but I would say to that comment, I would take comfort in the fact that it's not like, a lot of people were surprised at the trade pick, but it wasn't an egregious pick in terms of where experts were kind of predicting he would go. It's not like Shanahan's the only person that wanted it. I'm just making the
no,
point that
okay. So what though? That doesn't mean I don't care about that. Solomon Thomas. Everybody said Solomon Thomas was the right pick.
I know that's true, but the draft is, you said earlier, like the draft is a little bit of a crapshoot, but that's,
It
I think
is.
that I know. Well, my point is there's a difference between being a GM of a team and being the coach of a team in the fans' perspective in terms of like what heat we put on these guys and them being on the hot seat and the pressure we put on, because as a coaching perspective, 99% of fans, who a lot of them have never played football, a lot of them don't know the ins and outs of the X and O's and stuff. You have to defer so much. Like, who's the next good coach? You don't really fully know. You just know what you've seen on what guys' records are on, but we don't know the ins and outs of like the game like that. But when it comes to picking players and being the GM with all this fantasy stuff going on now and all these things you could do mock drafts on, like all these GMs are like, for the most part, it's a crapshoot. Even Belichick has struggled with the draft. So as a fan, you're sitting back like, I could do a better job than this. I could do a better job than this. So I would say to your comments about Trey Lance, I understand the Shanahan aspect of it. Like you're not comforted by the fact that that's the guy he selected and whatnot. But my point is that if we do get a different coaching staff, there's still
Oh
potentially
yeah,
potential in there. It's not
no,
like
no, it's just,
you
it's
can't put
just
too much on Trey Lance. Like you know what I'm
no,
saying? Like he's
no,
still a guy who people you know touted as a high draft prospect. That's all I'm saying. So let's
right.
get to
And
some of
like,
these comments though.
yeah, go ahead.
So it's we coming in hot. Let's see. At least we have the Warriors. That's what I was about to say at the end of the game. Like, look, the Warriors won. But
I'm not caring about the Warriors.
exactly. This is, and we got all different types of fans, Lakers fans, all all type of people in here. We suck. I mean, it's a lot of negative energy in here. The Lance era
Right, that's
begins now.
good. I love it.
We have gotten out the game plan every game. Scripted plays work, then we lack adjustments, but the concepts work in the late game. I don't know. Some things work, some things don't. But overall, in terms of like the work, the flow of the game, what plays we're calling, in situations where we can be conservative, I think this was a good game to look at the ability of like, Carson Wentz was throwing it down the field. And like this is a type of game where you throw stats out the window. I don't care what the stat said. I do not care what the stat said. Carson Wentz was a lot better of a quarterback. And like all those penalties that were drawn, I know he had issues with pass interference calls, but that's the NFL in 2021. You got to throw the ball up to give yourself a chance. And it's like they did that way more times than we did. And the one drive that we really were throwing that thing up, Jimmy had some success. And it looked like there were some plays where, Ayuk and Sanu were in the same area. And like, it didn't look like there was a good spacing on the field in terms of like, even what plays we had, but we still gave guys a chance. And on that one drive, it did end up successful other than 2-point conversion. We've seen even on Jimmy's pick, right? It's like Debo has at that point, I think 8 catches, and I don't know how many times he's been thrown at, but it's like he's the only guy who's getting any sort of catches thrown his way, right? Or balls thrown his way, right? And similar to our criticisms of this team in the past, we're not really doing any deep routes. So it's like all these comebacks and crossing patterns and things of that nature. And it's like, the ball is going to go to Debo. He's coming back short of the, like right where the marker is. And all of a sudden you're trying to force it into him and it gets, picked off because you're just trying to force the ball into Debo and it's so predictable. And even earlier in the game when, I don't know if it was Darius Leonard, I think it was the Nigerian who could have had that interception on the middle of the field on Jimmy. There's plenty of plays like that where it's just so predictable. You know what's going to happen. We don't do anything else. This was the first game where Ayuk had some sort of jet sweep action. And it's so funny to me that a year ago, Sunday Night Football, primetime, Ayuk is jumping over the Eagles, making the Jordan thing, just hopping over them. And this week, this game, this year on Sunday Night Football, he's out there getting upended and turned around by the Colts. And it's just a good symbolic representation of how the mighty have fallen and how far things have gone, man, just this year. So I don't know.
How the mighty have fallen and the mighty, I get it. You're talking about Ayuk, but I'm getting back on Shanahan. Like we were 6-10 last year. We were the year before it went to the Super Bowl, and the years prior to that, everybody knows the record. Everybody knows the losing seasons.
Yeah,
and this is trending towards another losing season, and it's just
I
very
mean, it is a losing season right now until we can fix
right,
things around. I mean, that's what it is. That's what
right,
it is. We've started
right.
that way. This isn't the year when we started 5-0 and all. Like, we're not that team right now. We got to. This is a new year, a new story. But right now, we're a losing team. We can right the ship. We can fight for a playoff spot. We can.
I don't care about long season. Like I don't want to hear that
Yeah.
long season bull junk. I just feel like like no, this team isn't going anywhere. Like where is this team going?
Don't
This
you
team
feel
isn't
like?
going anywhere. Like
Don't
maybe
you feel
with Trey
like?
Lance, maybe things could switch up the vibe. But look, I heard somebody say this, and I definitely agree. Like, don't think that Trey Lance is gonna come here and just save the day.
Yeah.
It's still gonna. The offense really is the offense. The offense is just ugly. The
Yeah.
offense, and it's because it's
These
like
these
the
don't these don't
Shanahan
seem like.
product.
Yeah, these don't seem like quick fixes. These seems like long-term off-season rethinking how the team's going
Yeah,
to work sort of things. It doesn't seem like we're just going to change it around next week and have a great game plan and like we don't even know what we're doing with the Trey package versus the Jimmy package. Either one's not working. So I definitely think there's issues there. And it's interesting. I was listening to a lot of what Joe Staley was having to say. And man, I really appreciate having him on for the 49ers post-game shows because he's just providing great perspective when he talks about Jimmy Garoppolo, when he talks about the team, and when he talks about Shanahan, because he's been a leader on these teams. He's been across multiple eras. I just really value his opinion because of all those sort of factors. And when I was like listening to what he was saying and thinking about the team, I remember like the Harbaugh team had such a different energy than this Shanahan team, right? And I remember, like, I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but I remember sometime early in the Shanahan season, it may have been when we were like losing in the first year or the first few years. I don't know if it was Juszczyk or who it was, but they were talking about how like the vibe, that was like the best vibe they've ever been on a team. Like, it was the best energy that they've ever had, as being a part of a team. And to me, like, the energies of the teams are just completely different. Like the Harbaugh era had that dog that, like, it wasn't how
I
would
mean,
you
I
explain
mean,
it, bro?
all right, let dog and then slash like
The
in this
players.
I think you're talking about like toxic, like yeah, good players, and then just
Mhm.
like the toxic, like we're not gonna be respectful to each other, and
Right.
I
Mhm.
mean
Unhealthy.
all that like getting along, like the Bulls didn't get along. We watched 30 for 30. The Bulls, Michael Jordan, they didn't get along, but that maybe is overrated. And with the Niners, there's a lot of characters on this team that we may not even know fully, how they really are. And so I can't say that like,
Well, we've
they're
seen
just
what Kinlaw's been posting and whatnot.
yeah, so there's probably it's not just I don't think everybody's in there like just on some choir boy, that is the perception and like but I feel it like maybe you do need some toxic energy
Well,
right
it's
now
not
in that
about
locker room.
I don't
Maybe
I don't
maybe you need a fist fight in the
yeah,
shower right now. So maybe you need
exactly.
to blame somebody,
Exactly.
and
I
point at you messing up, no, you messing up, and then
right.
just throw down, and then maybe that might help.
Right. I don't the point I'm trying to make is like it's not about at the end of the day, it hasn't been successful. We had the 2019 year, but overall this tenure hasn't been successful. And so like to me, like it's not about, oh, this is not the right way to do it, but it hasn't worked for this team. That's all I'm saying. Like I feel like the leadership seems to be lacking on this team, even though it seems like we have leaders, right? We have guys like Fred Warner, but I just don't feel like I feel like there's a lack of leadership on the team and a lack of fire on the team. And Joe Staley even said as much. He said there was a lack of fire on the team. So I just thought that was interesting. He made a lot of interesting points. Shanahan was given the keys to the franchise. He's here everyone's season of success on a beastly defense. It's very true. You're supposed to be this offensive guru, this offensive guy. And I get it. Complimentary football, all good things. But when push comes to shove, like I said in the beginning when we opened up this episode, this post game show, when push comes to shove, and you're the offensive guru and you're the genius that everybody's looking to, the Shanahan offense. We're going to call LaFleur. We're going to call all these guys are just under your tree. McVay, everything under your tree. They're going to give you all the credit for that. You just can't be criticized. Guys on the Rich Eisen show and all these areas, you just cannot be criticized. And then for you to come out and we're not having a great offense again, to me, it's like, okay, well,
We
you
don't have
can't
a
have that same asshole energy. You can't have that same asshole energy. That just can't be the norm. You can't
man,
continue to act
we
that way.
we just don't have a good quarterback though, bro. Like the year he went crazy, he had
That's his
Matt
fault
Ryan.
too. That's his fault too.
Yeah,
To
no,
a certain extent.
it
That's
is
his
his
fault
fault.
too.
It is his
That's his
fault.
fault too.
It is his fault,
That's his fault too. So
and it's
however you want to cut it,
what it
however you
is.
want to cut it. Yeah.
And it just honestly is humbling because it should let the fans know and everybody know that these coaches aren't just some expert geniuses at football is not this football isn't
Don't
the cliche
overcomplicate it.
saying it's not rocket science. It's
Don't
not like
overcomplicate it.
yeah, it's just like and it's a lot of it is you
But
can't really predict.
but I'll say this though. A coach like Shanahan makes it seem like it is. A
Yes.
coach like
Exactly.
Shanahan, they try to make you seem like it is. Like it's just you guys just don't understand what we have to do. It's like, come on, man. Like this is sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like I just
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta give them some they put in a lot of time and energy and
absolutely.
they,
Shanahan,
they do know more
you
than
can
the
see it
common
in
fan, but
absolutely.
they don't they're competing against everyone within that circle. And yeah, I don't think no like obviously Shanahan, you aren't above this circle of
In fact,
coaches.
you're below. In fact, you're
Yeah,
below. And
you
when you look at, your last name, it seems like it's added a lot to, your prestige and your aura. And it hasn't been the results necessarily that we've seen. So it just is what it is. This is a good point actually from Good Luck Iggy. Colts had two backup corners in there, Condon to just throw the ball, get those PIs on our side. I mean, it's just again, our corner goes out for us. What is the team going to do? What is a good team going to do? They're going to attack them. They're going to go at them. You see what Pittman making those plays on our side is,
bro, let's talk about Ayuk, bro. Let's talk
I was
about
just gonna say, and it's crazy because I feel like I cursed the team, man. It's like I remember the year I bought the Cap jersey. That was the year where everything kind of went down. I bought the Ayuk jersey this offseason, and it's like, man, I got to stop buying these jerseys. But to me, the Ayuk thing, again, similar to what we were saying earlier, it's Shanahan's fault regardless, because even if he's not playing well and it's not like, he's not doesn't have the drive and the desire, like, yeah, it's on the player side, of course. Like, it's on them, but you drafted that guy, and it's a tough, it's a crapshoot to a certain extent, but there's so many wide receivers. You trade up, you make these trades, you do all these things, and he put on tape a somewhat successful year last year. I mean, he at least popped. I know there's injuries. I know he had Debo's plays, etc., but you can't make that work. You can't make that work. He seems like a talent. Like, you can't make that work.
Nah, man.
Go ahead. Speak on it.
That's on Ayuk. Like, yeah, that's on Shanahan for bringing him
both
in.
of them.
But no, that's on Shanahan for. But like, when you get on that field, the players is gonna rise to the top.
Yeah,
you feel me? You see what Debo's doing, like Debo's. So I just feel like, yeah, Shanahan, that's on you. You thought this was the next
Isaac Bruce.
You thought
whatever.
That was the next Isaac Bruce. No, he's not the next Isaac Bruce. Okay, he's nothing close to that, and we've seen that. It's so anybody could show flashes.
Dante Pettis.
Anybody could do that. But can you do it? Can you be consistently good against, in a tough league?
And you're starting to build up a track record, man. I mean, I hate to put Jalen Hurd in there, but it's like you keep giving him chance for all the injuries and stuff, and I'm not,
bro. Like, let Jalen for it. But you think he's about to be the next guy? Bro, we could have Tom Brady too, man.
It's sad. We
could have time.
Let's see. Let's get to some of these comments, man. It's week 7 now. The 49ers
will make bad decision after bad decision. It's just coming up right now. 2-4 is what you get.
They had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. That's one sign of a good coach is how you come in after buys, right? They always talk about, Andy Reid's record after buy and Belichick's record after buy. Like, that is a good sign of a well-coached team, like how your team comes out after the buy. One thing, we haven't had too many offensive penalties for the most part. We had a few holdings. We had a few ones that, hurt, but it's not like we're just super undisciplined. We're just doing things on the penalty side. I know on the pass interference on defense, we've definitely had a lot of those throughout the year. It's definitely got to be addressed, but it's not like, guys aren't, making egregious penalties and things like that. It's just we're not executing. Our offense doesn't look good. It's like on both sides, the plays don't look good and we're not executing those plays. So it's like it's a double-edged sword, and it's just not looking good. Kyle's done. Why would he sign a bunch of one-year players? He knew this was his last. I don't believe that. I feel like Jed gave him the keys. They gave the regime the keys. They had the trust in the organization to make the trade for. That's another bad thing about this season, right? We don't even have a first-round pick. We don't even have a first-round pick next year on top of it all. We don't even have a first-round pick. There's no incentive to lose, but yet we're going to just continue to lose. I don't want to say that, but if there's no incentive to lose,
I mean, we're probably gonna beat the Bears. I can see it. I mean, JB.
The
Bears beat the Raiders. The Bears,
they did. Okay,
Raiders.
JB.
I'm about to be a Raiders fan. I think I need to go back to 03 vibes, man.
Okay.
Let's switch to Raiders.
Hey, I seen CC Sabathia at the game rocking the Los Oakland Raiders shirt. Shout out to my boy Lou. Shout out to boy Lou doing it big. Make sure you support the brand. But man, you threw me off my game. What was I about to say? I think Jed York. I think Jed York gave the keys to Shanahan. He wanted to right the ship, and he thought the only way maybe he can get a guy like Shanahan is to give him all this power. Now that Shanahan has all this power, I feel like you look at the extensions, you look at the trade that we made to go up and get Trey Lance. Those are moves that show that we have your support. Now that this pressure is coming on us, and like I said, right now it's crazy. Imagine if we lose next week to Justin Fields and he goes crazy as a guy that we could have potentially drafted. I know he had a terrible game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they beat us, I don't even want to put that energy out there, but that is the game. Okay, well, that to me, like whatever you as a faithful after this game, what you're feeling right now, it can get 10 times worse if we lose next week. Next week is
it'll be extremely laughable, honestly.
Because to me, the way I look at it, the way I look at it is like, we'll finish, at best 10 wins, at worst, like 6 wins is going to be an implosion situation. I don't even want to say at worst because things look bad right now. Yeah. But I feel like it's going to end like that, and then it's going to be pressure. But we're going to keep, Shannon, keep the regime. Let's see if we can develop Lance. That's going to be the next thing. Like, how do we look with Lance? And we'll give another year. And if things don't go well, then we fire. But my whole thing is like, if that's going to be the end goal and like that's going to be what we really think we're headed towards, then let's get the process started now and just move on. And the only way that that's going to be like that has the potential to happen is if things just blow up and things are just this whole season, the way we play, this just keeps up the weight that it's going right now. And so every game that I'm watching, either way, I'm going to be entertained because it's either going to be a shit show, excuse my language, but it's either going to like the wheels are going to fall off and it's going to be like, okay, well, maybe we just need to blow this whole thing up, which I'm all for. Or it's going to be, okay, how are we going to react? How are we going to come back? How are we going to keep our composure? How are we going to, battle back in the season? And hopefully, that's with Trey Lance. Because with Jimmy, I don't know if you saw during the game, Chris Collinsworth said, yeah, if Jimmy Garoppolo plays well, I mean, I don't know. He might be back here next year and the year after that. Bruh, what? Why would he say that? Did he get – it's like, is somebody on the team feeding him to say that, or is that his own authentic thoughts? Because if somebody's telling him that information, I'm
kind of honestly, I'm kind of sick of this regime in terms of like, when it's negative, when you start losing, you start thinking about all the
everything that was positive.
And you just start thinking about like, I just remember like John Lynch talking about before the Philly game last year, Nick Mullins like talking on KNBR and talking about like how they really covet Nick Mullins. And how Nick Mullins is like a quarterback that, a lot of people in the league probably wish they could have. And it's just like John Lynch. Now, and
he always gassing everybody up to the fullest.
And it's like, bro, like you just hear John Lynch talking now, and Kyle Shanahan, it's just the more they talk now, it's like, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you.
And I tweeted out earlier, we're starting to know the phrases too, right? By no means was it perfect. We just didn't execute. We got to, all the things that we always say, right?
I don't. Did you get that? There's a new phrase that Shanahan had this week. It was do right longer. That's what was the phrase. Like, like we just have to. I've been telling the guys, do right longer. Do right longer.
It's funny, like you said, because hey, bro, just like you just said right now, those are the things that when it's a new regime and it's like being said brick by brick, when it's being said like in the beginning, you're like, bro, that's like, bro, brick by brick, like do right longer, like let's go, like, and then when things start falling off, it's like you start thinking back, like, hold on, like this whole time, it's like if you was with a girl and like the a relationship ended bad and you thinking back to your relationship earlier and you're like, hold on, that one night when she was on the phone and said, wait, was she really
exactly.
It's like you just start thinking about things like, hold on, that's the situation. That's what it's come to.
You have to, bro, because this is brick by brick. Okay, like, bro, like the job was supposed to be done a long time ago.
For everybody who's saying Jimmy G should be traded. Hey, bro. Hey, let's do a fun exercise right now. Like, where can Jimmy G be traded to, and for what? I mean, you have any thoughts?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not good at this. I don't know.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, New York. I think they'd be happy with Ben Roethlisberger and with Daniel Jones over Jimmy G, and especially at the contract amounts.
Jimmy G is not gonna be looked at as a who is gonna trade for Jimmy G? Like,
I think Jimmy G might retire soon. Honestly, I feel like he might retire soon. All the injuries and whatnot.
And that boy Martellus Bennett is in Jimmy G's head right now. He posted.
Can we give some context to that? I don't know if you wanted to touch on those Marcellus concept.
Martellus
those
Bennett,
comments.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you know what he said. But anyways, if Martellus Bennett said that Jimmy G was a bitch because how a game went in New England and how he didn't play and all that. But basically, I mean, he was really, he called him a bitch. Said you can't win with a bitch quarterback.
That's how he speaks, though. That's like how he speaks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't care. That's some disrespectful ass.
It is, but it was said in
like I don't care.
You got to take the context of who's saying it, though. It's just language, bro. Like, people talk. It was a very conversational podcast.
People call people bitches. Like, people.
He does. He does.
Who does he call a bitch?
He called his whole team a bitch. He called his whole Chicago Bears team.
That's how he felt like. And that's how he felt like. Like,
that's true.
Like, that don't mean
that's
like,
true.
Like
But
shit,
that's
that's like
but I'm saying I'm
like
saying it means more coming from somebody else. Like if coming from him, that's like how he talks to a certain extent. I'm not saying that
I'm saying
the
that's how he
comments aren't
views the
damning.
person, though. I mean, and that's how he views a
Look,
person.
I'm not trying to be a Jimmy G apologist. I'm just saying I don't know if Jimmy G's just tripping off that. Like I don't like I feel like there's context to those comments. It's not like, people. I know you see
I
a
mean,
clip
there
on
was some
Twitter these days and
disrespectful
it's
ass
like
words. I guess I don't. I just feel like, yeah. I guess I'm trying to put myself in Jimmy G shoes. Like that would kind of bother me and upset me if somebody was on social media saying, "Oh yeah, he's a bitch. You can't win with a bitch
if this
quarterback."
dude just went from bitch to just full on. Let me just
I
say
mean,
it. Like you just that's just how you feel, huh? I feel it. What else
that's
do you
how
got,
he
man?
felt.
I think we got good players offensively. Who?
Huh?
Debo, Trent Williams. He just said, I think we got good players offensively. I'm like, who?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Debo, Trent.
Debo,
Like, I don't think we have that many good players. And I also think,
Juice is cool.
yeah,
Like, you know,
Juszczyk is awesome. I feel like we have a lot of overrated guys. Can I give some positivity and some love for one player, Jalen Moore? I just didn't see any like a bunch of negative things, him getting blown up. Like, I really didn't see that. And I know that's like, I don't try to really,
yeah,
grade offensive line like that. I don't be looking at the trenches just like that. But it's really noticeable when somebody is just clearly not doing their job
that's
and clearly not
cool.
great. I know Indianapolis doesn't
Jalen
have the
Moore is
best
great.
edge rushers and whatnot, but I just wanted to throw that out there. He's a rookie coming in on an offensive line where we've struggled. We got guys like McGlinchey. We got guys like it's like, could he go to the right and play instead of McGlinchey? Like I just he played solid from what I saw. I have to get maybe Brad
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
on
I
and
mean, yeah, we don't know what's really going
and
down.
I didn't see
You know,
number one. There wasn't any penalties that he had. Number one,
right,
that's
right.
like one
And
thing.
you didn't see a sack. I did see somebody on Twitter said that they just seen him get whooped or something, but I didn't see the
Okay,
play.
all right.
But
Well,
you know, so
maybe I'm talking too soon.
yeah. So
Um,
you know, but hey, man, what you like? I wanted to talk to you about this earlier, like in the week when did you ever watch McGlinchey's press conference?
you told me to watch it, and like I said, bro, I just was kind of down on the energy and excitement coming into this week because I knew Jimmy was gonna play, and this whole Trey Lance situation with the injury. I don't want to push, but it just seems so weird, and it just had me in a like low energy kind of state. So I wasn't really watching and tapped in like that. But what was your thoughts? What happened? What was going on?
I
Fill
mean,
me in.
it's just crazy to just see a player who is like so much in his head, who kind of like is trying to say that he's not in his head, and it's like, you know, McGlinchey to start venting about like, yeah, like about, you know, it's just it's hard for me to put into words, I guess, and to articulate just but it's just he has zero confidence, and you could just like tell, and you could just tell the things that he does say, that you know the phrases like the you know to rise above things and just one play at next step, and you know worry about the next play. Like you could just say like you don't believe that, you don't believe none of that, and you believe you're in your head because you literally you could just tell you're just in your head, bro. And
Yeah,
there was
I'm
a
gonna
play.
challenge.
There was a
Yeah,
play when Jimmy G fumbled, and I was like, "Oh, Jimmy G fumble," because of and Mike McGlinchey was the guy who gave up the sack fumble. You know, that's just kind of like perfect. Like this is regular. This is what you would expect.
I would say a little bit of pushback on what you said. What is confidence, right? Should he have irrational confidence? I think maybe it's just that he's not really a great or a good player, right? So it's like, what confidence is he supposed to have? I'm just like, I'm not even trying to rhetorically ask, but I'm saying like, what? It's not even a confidence thing. It's like he's not a good player. He's being put at the podium. He's being put in the captain role. I think this also goes to like a lack of leadership to a certain extent because I just feel like, and I know Trent Williams was hurt this year and stuff, but when you have a guy like Joe Staley, he just seemed to. I was watching the post game show when they had Aziz basically being interviewed after the game, and when Joe Staley came on, he was like, "Oh man, like Joe, like how you doing, man? It's good to see you right now, man. It's good." And to me, it was just telling like. Is a guy like that missing when you trade a guy like Buckner? It's like, okay, we trade this guy, we have more cap space, we can do this, we can get this player, draft this guy, but you're missing on the intangibles that go on with like the football team, like the guys that are really intangibly important to. You need a Tyrann Mathieu on a team, not just for his play, but also for what he's bringing like on the field. The Richard Sherman, shout out to another player. I know he had some plays that he messed up, but Josh Norman, on that fumble that he forced, I just feel like at least he'd be out there playing aggressive and shit. He's a guy who's coming in, no expectations, got him during the season, but he'd be out there playing. It's like, so I gotta give a shout out there.
But he also give up a lot.
He does, but it's not somebody that you can really like blame. This is a guy who's coming in mid-season. He forced a fumble. He had a like, you know what I'm saying? Like he makes
turnover. But
yeah, I'm gonna give him some props. I'm gonna give him props.
No, I feel you.
And you want to compare him to like a Drake Kilpatrick? I mean, I'm gonna give some love to Josh Norman. Period. I know he gave up some things, but it's like he's playing corner in the NFL. That shit's hard. Like, what do you expect him to do? But I guess the point I'm making is there seems to be some leadership issues on the team.
People passes now.
What you mean?
No, I'm playing. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not giving no passes.
I'm just saying, like, Josh Norman literally like had a touch.
He literally forced a fumble. He literally almost had another. He had a pass breakup that could have been an interception.
And then he left somebody wide open on a touchdown.
And again, I'm not gonna. The level of criticism has something to do.
The bar is low. The bar is low.
The bar is low. Yes.
The bar is very low. Like, all right, he made a play. Like, yeah, he gave up like 3, but
right.
And
going back to that, like, the evaluations and excuses, I think Chris B made the comment about Carson played in the same weather conditions. We talk about injuries. We talk about the weather. We talk about the refs, all these PIs, we're in the NFL in 2021. Every team is playing under the same conditions. The NFL, this game is a meritocracy, to a certain extent. It's like, every team has the same situation. You know what I mean? So there's no reason to, there's no reason to make excuses and think of this team always going back to 2019, like everybody wants to talk about, and all the excuses that we can come up for last year and for the first year. And it's a results-based business, and we haven't been very good, and that's just the facts of the situation. Let's get through a few more of these comments, man. Once again, this is BMetchy. I'm with JB on Croc Talk TV. This is the 49365 post-game show. Make sure you give us a follow, subscribe. All the information should be in the comment section. Let's see what else we got here, man. Kyle setting up Trey to fail. Because where were the plays from tonight where he played Arizona? Had him running the whole game. I'm not sure. It's a very contrast sort of situation. And to Grant's question that he asked him last week, there's 2 styles of offenses that we're running. And is that taking away from the team and, being able to execute at a high level? I don't know. I don't care. You're the coach. You have to figure it out. You picked him. You wanted to keep Jimmy. I don't care. I don't care what the reason is. It's not working. I don't care. I don't care what the reason is. At the end of the day, it's not working. So figure it out. You're the head coach. Are you just setting it up for another excuse? Well, we had Jimmy, but we drafted Trey with all of our draft picks, so we had to split up the reps and what we were doing. We were trying to do that 2 QB system, and the team couldn't fully execute at a high level doing either, which is why this year we kind of just didn't really play that well. Are you setting yourself up for an excuse? Stop with the excuses. This is what you wanted. You are the person with the keys to the whole car, and you're upset saying it's on autopilot when you're driving it off the road. What's going on, man? Let's get this thing moving smoothly. Let's get to the rest of these comments. Most of Colts' big plays downfield came off penalties. It's still, well, that's what you get when you throw it up. Yes, they came off penalties. It's still part of the game, right? Like Carson Wentz was throwing it out there. We don't even throw it out there to give guys an opportunity to even get similar penalties.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like if we was throwing it up out there,
it wouldn't look like that because we don't have those dogs. Because we don't have those guys.
Yeah,
other than Debo, we don't have those guys.
Yeah.
We can't even draft anyone scrutinized for years. Exactly. Why the fuck we playing Jimmy? Trey is legit. You are wrong about him. I don't think JB was just saying Trey's not going to be legit. He was just posting his concerns, I think, with the fact that Shanahan, this is the guy that Shanahan handpicked. It's like, how much are we going to give credence to on that point? Because we don't really trust what Shanahan's picking. What else we got? A lot of us are sick. How are you feeling right now, JB? How are you feeling? It seems like you're apathetic. I came into the game apathetic, and now I feel like I'm actually more juiced.
What does apathetic mean?
Meaning, like, I came in, like, I feel like, I almost didn't care about what was going to happen in the game coming into the game. I was like, we're playing Jimmy. We're going to, he's going to do okay. Like, what does this mean? This game doesn't mean anything. Well, I know how good this team is and how, not good we are, I should say. It's like, I want the team to go on a new journey with Trey and kind of take another route and blow things up and build for the future. I don't feel like we're doing that. So I'm not really, I just don't really care either way. That's kind of how I came in the game. And like after watching it, I'm like, I started like almost rooting that Jimmy would do some of the things that he was doing. And like, this is getting bad. Our thing's going to blow up. Now getting on this podcast and this post game and this therapy session, I'm super turned up. I feel like you're just like, man, whatever. Is that accurate?
I mean, yeah, it is because it's like, what is going to change? Like, what is going to change? Like, yeah, I think the only thing we have to like to to have some entertainment for this season is just to be like, okay, like our Jimmy's done. Let's see what we look like with Trey. Let's see what type of like what type of player Trey can be. And all these rookies are struggling. And hey, guess what? They all might not be good, except if you get one rookie QB that's good, then that might be what it is. And what's his name look good in New England?
Yeah, we got a comment about really feel like this man needs humbling. I feel like he's being humbled, and like I said, next week is a huge game, but I feel like he's being humbled. That's why I feel like when Shanahan leaves eventually, whenever that is, it seems like we're going down that path. I think he's going to be successful in his next stop.
This is realistic now.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be this year. It's like most likely in my head, and this was my energy coming into the game too. It's like Jimmy G is going to get a bunch of starts, and it's going to get so out of hand. We're eventually going to play trade. It's like, oh, we have some level of hope because like the games don't mean anything, and things are going to pop off, similar to what Jimmy did when he came in when he first got traded here. So it's like there's going to be some hope, some splash plays, some level of optimism. So it's like, okay, well, we'll give Shanahan and Lynch, we'll give the regime another year and really see if this thing, and then next year, probably not, with the expectations and all that and some of the transitions that our team is going to make. I'm really projecting anything could happen, but I really feel like a likely scenario is that we come out, play the end of next year, and then the regime moves on, we fire them, and we'll, get onto a new regime. And it just feels like if that's the case, you're just wasting this year, you're wasting next year, wasting them. Especially paying Jimmy. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. And so I feel like that's the road that we're going down. And I feel like he's going to be humbled when he leaves and ends up being the coach of I don't know what team, man, the Texans or whatever it is. Maybe the Denver Broncos. I feel like the relationship with his dad there. The Mike Shanahan Ring of Honor. Like they maybe getting fed up with Fangio. Like I don't know. That might be a situation to look out for. I said it here first. Shanahan with the Denver Broncos.
Peace, Shanny. Like, bro, I'm not worried about Shanahan, bro. I'm not worried about Shanahan.
Oh, man. Let's see what we got. Brandon, man, my name is Brendan Amechi. I think he's talking about some of the comments out here. Brandon Moore. Yeah, let me not get that twisted. Kyle won't take responsibility. That is accurate. Let's see what we got. This is frustrating, bro. I can't take this. Got to drink my pain away.
Sip him up.
I ain't tripping like that though. I'm just not like
the season, bro. After the Packers game, I was like, oh yeah, this is.
It's just the thing that really sucks though is that the thing that really just like the thing that really sucks though is that we don't have a first round pick for the next 2 years.
That's the part where it's like, like there's not a lot of optimism in the next few years that you could be like, like what moves can we make? Like how can we turn this thing around? How can we get some good players in here? How can we get some guys?
Joe Kelly's asking, are you guys taking over for Croc, or is this just because he's in Cali? Yeah, Croc is he's in Sacramento, I think right now. Is he in Sacramento? I don't know if he's back yet. But we've been doing these post-game shows on Croc's channel for quite some time, really the whole season. So, we just supporting the family. He's supporting us, cross promotion, all that. I mean, it's love. We all faithful. We all, part of this 49ers community, just chopping it up, talking this game about the 49ers after the game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 1 a.m. where Croc's at right now. So it's tough for him to do these post-game shows, especially on a Sunday night. So we just filling in here and, giving you our 2 cents, giving you our therapy session, letting y'all get it out. And as we get off this theme as well. So that's what it is. But make sure y'all follow us as well at 49x365. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got content on that thing too. But yeah, definitely shout out to Croc Talk TV. A lot of big things coming. Let me just say that. We got Jimmy is not the leader he needs to be. He can't be because Shanahan neuters him. So the Shanahan's fault that Jimmy is not who he is. I do feel that Jimmy innately, at least coming in, had that gunslinger energy. I thought he was more in the mold of a Tony Romo, not in terms of like his actual skill level, but just in terms of wanting to throw that thing deep and everything like that, coming from Eastern Illinois and just what we have seen with the Patriots and what we saw the first year that he was here with us. And I feel like Shanahan has really, really made him maybe overanalyze. He's just, I feel like Shanahan is not the best with like empowering his players, at least at the quarterback position, let alone maybe some other player. I mean, guys like George Kittle have popped off, so I can't say that for for everybody, but for quarterbacks, I feel like Shanahan, he kind of wants a gym rat Nick Mullins type. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who really is in there. And Trey, people make it seem like Trey is that guy. I don't know. We'll see. But I just don't feel like maybe Shanahan has contributed to the level of play that Jimmy is limited to. The level of player that he is right now. But at the end of the day, like JB said about Ayuk, like JB has said the whole time, like it's on what you put on tape is what you put on tape. I don't even, especially at the quarterback position, F what the coach calls. If you think there's something better, call audible. I don't care. Go road. Do what you need to do. I don't care. Like do what you need to do. You are putting yourself and your career on tape. You hear Martellus Bennett in his comments about, his agent was saying, not let him play in New England because he might get hurt or didn't want to risk injury so he can get to a different team and yada, yada, yada. Well, if you're really concerned about your career, you want to make sure that you're putting the best possible thing out there on tape. So this is on Jimmy too. Like, do what you can and look good. Shanahan doesn't have anything to do with your fumbles and your pocket presence and you're just throwing the ball up in the air up for grabs. I mean, come on, man.
Jimmy is Jimmy, bro. Jimmy is
and Shanahan is Shanahan.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen Jimmy let it fly. Yeah, we've seen that. He can do it. Yep. I'm convinced Levi's just bruh. I mean, can we get a win at home? This shit is disgusting. Are we like what? Who are we? Let's see, man. Let me see if we can get some. Mitchell disappears in the second half and we lose. I don't even know what that is. I don't feel like that's on him per se. I mean, he's doing his thing.
He might be getting hurt. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he runs.
He might be getting hurt. I mean, everybody on the team is. I mean, shoot, it's probably an injury. What else we got? The refs probably. I don't know. Yeah, no, he's probably getting hurt. I mean, shoot, that's always a good assumption with our team. Just blame it on guys getting hurt. Like if they're not producing at what you think they should do, or they telling off. I mean, it's the injuries, man. It's always the injuries. We simply suck.
I mean,
this isn't just a coaching issue.
At some point, that's where it's kind of like you.
But like, how is that not just a coaching issue? That's Shanahan has made this team, and even if you want to say it's injuries, that's you still made the team. So
no, yeah,
I mean,
I think that's what it
still
is.
On.
Like, I feel like if you had Tom Brady running this offense, we'll be raw.
Yeah, let's see what else we got, man.
But guess what? We didn't pick up Tom Brady, and I feel it. That was in a. That wasn't I understand the reasoning behind not picking him up, but hindsight, hey, that's why y'all get paid. Shanahan is making $10 million this year, right? I think right, something like that. But he's making hella money, and this is what happens. You're supposed to make that decision, $10 million man. You're supposed to leave this team into that. That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Jimmy G to Washington for a 7th. I mean, why would they do that? I mean, Tyler Heineke
better than Jimmy G.
He's better, and he's way cheaper, and he knows the offense. He's already there. Why would you do that if you're Washington? Why would you even give up a 7th? There's no place Jimmy G can go, and there's no place. You made your bed by starting him and keeping him on the team this year, which is just a terrible decision to begin with. And I've said that this isn't hindsight. I've been said that.
No, we should have got rid of him, bro.
It's a terrible decision.
It's over now. It's over. We're not getting anything for him.
Let's see. We got play Aaron Banks and also and get Brunskill out of there. I mean, yeah. Trey Sermon, Aaron Banks. We're trading up for running backs and all these draft picks.
Did you see the John Lynch thing when he was talking about Ambry Thomas?
Oh, what did he say exactly? He was trying to build him up for next year, or
your
face.
Like John Lynch, like Ambry. So Ambry, he's giving you like hope that he could be something this year. Like later on in the year, he has started. We believe he has starting traits that can make him a starting. That guy, number 20. Oh,
let's see. Joe Kelly says, he says, if we still stay on Croc's channel, he's gonna have to,
Man, I seen that weak ass comment.
Shout out to Joe, hating ass. We haven't won a game at home beyond pathetic. Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying. We only got a few more comments here. We got the end. Let's see. Does John Lynch finally assume control and stop trying to make Kyle happy? I mean, like JB has pointed out throughout this episode, John Lynch, he's that guy where if you go back and look at a lot of the things with the Captain America, squeaky clean vibe, and you look back on it and you look at some of the comments made and always gassing guys up, and yeah, he was really one of the top 5 players on our board, and this is really how we want this to happen, and yeah, you just kind of go back to the comments and you're like, I don't know what level of involvement he has on all this. I would think that he's majority just like a face and somebody who communicates to the public and whatnot. And he's been doing a good job of keeping things kosher up to this point. But it comes to a certain point where things kind of blow up. And, John Lynch, what are you going to do? Give the keys to him who has no experience in this role as well and who came from TV. And I know he's a Hall of Fame player and he's a respected guy and whatnot. But this is the bed that he's also, it's like, how can you fire this person and keep this person? Like you're keeping the same energy.
I do think that we could. I feel like we shouldn't. If we fire one, I think we should fire Lynch. I don't think you should fire Shanahan and keep Lynch.
I agree.
I feel like you should fire Lynch, and then but that's probably who. Hey, Chris Sims, I seen you post that. Bring in Chris.
Yeah, I tweeted that this week that I'm gonna just be weak if we fire John Lynch and bring in Chris Sims. So we know that Shanahan, at this point it's not all up to him, right? We're bringing in another one of his friends, another one of not to say that John Lynch and Shanahan had a relationship beforehand, but we all know the story of how Shanahan or Lynch basically called Shanahan, and it's just it on the face level seems like a yes man / face of the franchise Captain America role. I always say Captain America with that guy because
you've been saying he's been keeping it, the media image, but that interview they was getting on him for that interview where he was like, yeah, doing all this. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you hear him talk, it's just like, wow, like it just feels so different than how it used to feel when he would talk. Now it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We didn't really I don't know if there's anything else to address in the game, man. I know it's late. We've been doing this show for 50 minutes now. Did you have any other thoughts before we wrap it up? On this post-game reaction show against this loss to the Indianapolis Colts. I think it was 30-18. What was it? Something like that.
Nah, man. What we gonna call ourselves? We gotta think of a new name. The faithful getting a little played out.
I mean, it's the faithful, man. It's the faithful. That's what it is, man. You got to rock with the moniker. I know it's tough, man. And I think, for fans that are kind of looking at this whole past 20 years and everything, it's like, it's been bad. I mean, we've had a lot of losing seasons and whatnot, but it has been worse for other teams. It's not like this is just like we've had two.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I always got to keep it positive. I got to say what I'm going to say. Like, it's not like this is just like, but yeah, we definitely haven't been one of the elite run franchises, let alone one of the good franchises in the NFL. We haven't. We've had years, we've had seasons, we've had a regime and an era, and we had one season. That's really all it was. It was one era and then one, season so far. I just feel like the way we're talking about it, the way I'm seeing on Twitter, things change. You take it game by game. You see what happens next week and you go from there. You do your best not to just make sweeping statements because it's a long season. And I know JB doesn't want to hear that, but it is. And so that's what you do. You take it game by game like the players and the coaches say they are. But this does seem to be, especially, again, like I said, with next week and the pressure of winning that game against the Bears, this does, become something now where it is a huge elephant in the room. And at this point, it looks like whether it's at the end of this year or the end of next year, big changes are on the horizon for this team. And when big changes are on the horizon, it's fair to say that you're in a crisis. It's fair to say that. And so that's the situation that we find ourselves in. We have faithful that are questioning the moniker of the faithful. We got fans that are up in arms on both sides. I will say one thing. 49ers Twitter has been pretty toxic over the past few weeks, or past at least last week, if not the past 2 weeks. And I think with the team being so bad, it's almost like a scapegoat for all of us to just in unison shit on this team. So hopefully, at least on 49ers Twitter, we have a little bit more positive vibes
Yeah,
and
man.
bringing down
Because
the
I
team.
mean, at the end of the day,
What
nobody's
can you
like
say?
who is disagreeing with people at this point. Like, what are you disagreeing about? Like, what are we gonna disagree about? What is there to say? Like,
There are those beat writers and those reporters that we all know who they are. I'm interested to see what they're going to say. They're going to be saying over the next few weeks. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excuses, so I'm interested to see what they are. So I'm going to leave it at that. I forget what the guy's name was who was hating on us, but for all those that are unimpressed with 49365, no love for you. To everybody else, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all follow at 49x365 and make sure you subscribe to Croc Talk TV. Shout out to my boy Eric Crocker. Lots of content coming, lots of big things coming. Like I always say, my name is Biamechi. It's positive energy and good vibes. And as always, I'm with JB.
we out. Hey, faithful, stand up.
Oh, damn, you got to end like that?